Well, good morning, boys and girls, to this beautiful rainy morning that we have this morning. Have you been able to listen to the rain? I laid in bed early this morning and just listened to it. It was very soothing to hear the pitter patter of the rain on the leaves and on the roof. I just love to listen to it. I also heard a little bit of thunder too. That's not always a good thing, but it quickly passed, so that was comforting too. Well, it's time for us to start, so let's go ahead and stand and do our pledges. So I'll be with you, right hand over your heart, and here we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very good. Thank you for doing that with me. And because of the rain, I chose a poem about rain, a silly one about ducks. I don't think ducks mind being in the rain, do you? The way God made their feathers is, even in the water, even in the rain, that rain just rolls right on off. So this is a poem about two brothers that are ducks, Willie and Wally. All right. Willie Duck and Wally Duck went out in the rain to play, splashing in the puddles in a very careless way. Neither had a raincoat and neither had a hat, but their mother didn't worry or fret about that. Willie Duck and Wally Duck, for almost an hour, without their boots on, they played in the shower. Of course their mother saw them, but she didn't scold. She didn't even tell them that they would catch a cold. Willie Duck and Wally Duck were wet clear through. And what about their mother? Well, she was out there too. So in the very last one, Willie and Wally, and there's Mama Duck right in the middle playing with them. It's fun to go out and splash in the puddles, but it is a good idea to have some kind of rain boots on. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started because I have several things to share with you today. So let's start with our Bible story. We're going to pick up where we left off. Katerina is in a new village, and remember, she has learned 9 Bible stories. But she doesn't have one for this last finger. Remember, her daddy said you can go as many times as you have fingers. So she got to go 9 times, but right when it was time for that last finger, remember, she and her family moved to a new village. There was no missionary there to tell the boys and girls stories, and so Katerina began to tell the stories that the missionary had taught to her. And remember yesterday, she stood up in front of the boys and girls, and she didn't have the pictures like the missionary did or like we do when we were at school. So she had to tell the boys and girls to pretend and imagine what was on that picture. Well, each day or each Sunday, when the boys and girls would come to Sunday school and Katerina would teach them, she would start and she would tell them the Bible stories that she had learned. So we're going to look at her fingers and we're going to see if we can figure out what Bible stories she told the boys and girls. So this first finger is the picture of a shepherd. And can you think about what that was? The night that Jesus was born, who did the angels go and tell? Remember, they were out on the hillside, watching over their sheep, taking care of them. God sent the angels to tell the shepherds that what? Jesus was born. And the angels told them, if you will go to Bethlehem, here's the picture of the baby Jesus in the manger. You will find the baby wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger. So that was the next story about Jesus being born in the manger and how the shepherds came to see baby Jesus. Now I'm going to hold this close. This is a picture of the temple. What do you think happened Or what story do you think that was that Katerina told them with the temple? Remember the story about how Jesus went with his family to the temple, and on the way home, they just thought Jesus was with their friends or other family. And remember, at nighttime, nobody knew where Jesus was. Nobody had seen them. And Mary and Joseph had turned around and had to go back to Jerusalem. And there was Jesus, remember, talking to the rabbis, talking to the preachers. And he was learning from them, but he was also teaching them because he knew all about God, because God was his Father. All right, so Jesus is older now, remember? And now he has started going out and asking men to join him to be his disciples. So that's this finger. These are the disciples, remember? And we even learned about some of them. Peter and Andrew, they were brothers. James and John. And we learned about Matthew, who was the tax collector. So that's this finger. All right, and then we get over here to the thumb. Oh, and there's somebody on crutches. What do you think that was about? That was when Jesus and his disciples would go around from village to village, and what? They would heal. God, Jesus, would heal people who were sick, who couldn't walk, the blind who couldn't see, and the deaf people that couldn't hear. God, Jesus, was doing miracles. So that was this whole hand. And then we go to her next hand. Here's another miracle that Jesus did. Do you remember? We even had that story here in our pretend classroom, isn't it? There's fish and some bread. Do you remember that story? When a little boy gave his lunch and Jesus blessed it, and everybody had something to eat for lunch that day. All right, and then we have Jesus here as he was, when he came into Jerusalem, riding on the donkey. All right, and then we know what happened next. Right, that's what we talked about Good Friday. That's when Jesus died on the cross. But then the story doesn't end there, does it? Then on this one, look, there's a tomb with the stone rolled away. And that's when Jesus rose from the dead, the resurrection. But look at this last finger. It doesn't have a story on it. And so as Katerina would share with the boys and girls, when they got to that finger and she didn't have another story to tell, guess what she did? That didn't let her stop her. She started over again and told the boys and girls the same stories over and over. Well, I do want to give you a little preview about tomorrow. There is a happy ending to the story, and Katerina is going to find out about that last finger. I'm so glad that you remembered all of those different Bible stories that we learned at our school too. I think we've learned more than 9, haven't we? All right, well, we are ready to move on to our new set of consonant blends, and they are called GL, G, L. When I put those together, it makes the gl sound. So let's take a look at the first one. I have GL and then one vowel in it, so it's going to say its short sound a, gla, and then D says D. So if we put all those sounds together, glad, glad. I'm so sorry that we are not at school, but I'm glad that we're able to, by way of technology, be able to share with you and keep teaching so that you can keep learning and be ready to go to kindergarten. So glad. All right. One vowel. All right. GL, gla, and then we have 2 S's. And we've learned what? When you have two letters that are exactly the same, it makes one sound. So we have glass, glass, glass. So I've brought in my glass of water when my throat gets a little dry, but I have to be very careful because this is made of glass. If it were to drop on this concrete floor, what would happen? It would shatter, right? So we have to be very careful when we have things that are made out of glass because they do break. So glass. All right, let's take a look at this word. G-L, now here's bossy E or silent E. We're not going to hear it, but it's going to say, hey, letter O, you're going to make your long sound. All right, O, and then a B, globe, globe. Remember a couple of weeks ago, I showed you our globe, and I still have it here. Let me get it for you. And a globe is like a map, but it's like our world because our world is round. So there's the globe. If I turn it this way, you can see all these different colors. That's the United States. Each different color is a different state. Do you remember how we talked about the states? And how many states are there? Do you remember? That's right, there's 50. And we talked a lot about our flag, that there are 50 stars on our flag. 1 star for every state. All right, but a globe shows not just the United States, but the whole world. There's Africa. If I turn it this way, let's see, this big country, that's China. And the world, God has the world, this just like our globe, it turns. We can't feel the world turning, but it does. It does. God has our world placed just where it needs to be, boys and girls. While he's been at home, I've been having to teach him and learn with him. And we were learning about our atmosphere and the air we breathe. Some of the other planets, that people can't live there. They're either too close to the sun and it's very, very hot, nothing could live there, or they're too far away from the sun and it's too cold. But God, when he created the world, put us in just the right place. That is a big God. Remember the song we used to sing about our God is so big, so strong, and so mighty? Yeah, so globe. That's a big, long story for the word globe, but it just reminded me of those things that we've talked about before. All right, and because God is so big and so wonderful, this word, God should get the glory, the glory. And also, remember in the story about the shepherds, it said that the angels came and they sang, and what did they say to the shepherds? Glory to God in the highest. So that's the word glory, glory. All right, let me slip back a little bit. G-L-I-D-E, silent E, bossy E. So now I is going to say its long sound. G-L, and then long I-D, glide. Remember, this is silent, glide. Have you ever watched how birds, when they fly, they just kind of glide through the air? Or an airplane just glides right on through. Glide. All right? This is a fun word. All right? This is the word glitter. Now there's 2 T's, but it makes one sound. It's not glitter, glitter, glitter. So remember when we would be at school, sometimes we would use glitter paint that had the little sparkly things in it. It's always fun to have a little bit of glitter. All right. And what did we need to get the glitter to stick? We had to have our what? Glue. That's our next word. G-L, long U because E is silent. Glue, glue. All right. And the last word is the word glow, glow. Do you have something maybe that glows in the dark? When you turn the lights out at nighttime, you can see it. Or in the summertime, when the lightning bugs come out and they glow in the dark, that's the word glow. That O makes its long O sound, doesn't it? All right, so let's try our words. We'll go through them slow. This is glad, then glass, then the globe, and God should get the glory. Birds and kites, they what? Glide up through the air. The sparkly glitter, and we make it stick by using glue. And then the last one, glow, glow. All right, so you know what now? We have finished that chart that I showed you yesterday. We have been learning a lot of consonant blends, making new sounds. So we are finished with that. Next week, I think we'll do some letter things next week, but I also want us to start doing some numbers too. So we'll get out our board, we're gonna do some number things, some adding, and we're gonna talk about coins, all right? Maybe you can find some pennies and nickels and even a dime at your house. We're gonna talk about those coins and how we can add coins next week. All right, so it's time for us to talk about our friend, Mr. Pack Rat, what's his name? That's right, Matt. And yesterday, he talked about how he hid different things. He hid the map in the cap, the fan in the pan, all right? He hid things away. All right, he's gonna hide a few more things today. So let's see what he puts away. All right, let's see. I and then H-I-D. It's the same as it was yesterday. Just because we've turned the page and it's a new sentence, it's the same word, H-I-D, id, hid. I hid the, what's this gray thing? C-K says K. I hid the rock in the, and this thing, look at this, it's long and striped. What? Sock. Sock. So rock and sock are exactly the same except for what? The first letter. That's the only thing we changed. When you see O-C-K, you know it's going to say ock. The short vowel O, ock. And we put an S-R in front of it, it makes it rock. If I put an S in front of it, it's a sock. All right, so let's read this sentence again. I hid the rock in the sock. Very good. All right. New sentence. H-I-D is in it. It's still the same. Hid. Let's see what he hid this time. I hid the mug. Mug in the what? U-G. Ugh. The only thing we change is the first letter. Rug. So let's read this sentence. I hid the mug in the rug. And if you look at that, what did he do? He lifted up the rug and put that mug underneath it. All right, let's check out the next page. All right, he's still hiding things. He says, I hid. It's the same word. Same word is up here and here. Just because we've moved pages doesn't mean that the word has changed. That's the one good thing about words. They stay the same. I hid the what? E-G-G, egg, egg in the where? Now this was one of our new words. Ant, pant, what? L-E-G, egg. So I hid the egg in a pant leg. So he found an old pair of pants, an old pair of jeans, and he lifted up one of the, there's just one, there's the other leg, and he slipped that egg inside that pant leg. That's where he hid it. All right, let's look at the next word. Y-E-S. Now this word, Y is going to stay its sound. Yeah, S. Yes. I am or a, whichever you want. Yes, I am a pack, what? Rat. That's right. He packs things away, doesn't he? And hides them. I hope that he remembers where he's put everything. Remember I told you last year, I'm terrible about that. I will get things and I'll keep them because I know that I'm going to need them, and I'll put them away. And then sometimes I'll forget. I think, where did I put that? I know I have it, and then I have to go and look for it. So Matt is a pack rat, but I'm sure that he's able to remember where he puts his thing. Well, we only have 2 more pages left, and we're going to finish this book. So then you'll be able to go back and share it, read it with mom, dad, read it to your friends or your brothers or sisters. Practice your reading. We've gone over these words. You can do that. That's why we practice every day, reading words and the sounds, knowing the sounds and what sounds the letters make, and sometimes what sounds they don't make, like our friend silent E. All right, well, one more thing and then we'll be finished for the day. And we've been talking about Italy. And we talked yesterday, I showed you some pictures. We've talked about it being where it is on the map, and to find it, you look for the boot. I'll get that out and let me show it to you one more time. And there it goes. There's Italy. Just look for the boot and the football it's kicking, and you'll be able to find it on a map. That's right. And we looked at the pictures. There's the Colosseum and the beautiful fountain with all the beautiful sculptures. And then on this page, we looked at the city of Venice, where the streets are covered in water and you have to take a boat. You have to take a gondola. Gondola, that's that kind of boat. And you pay the man and he'll take you from one part of the city to another on his gondola. It's a special kind of boat. And then we talked about this building that doesn't stand nice and straight and tall. It leans over a little bit. The Leaning Tower of Pisa. Right. A lot of times people want to say pizza, but it's Pisa. It's a city. Well, speaking of pizza, now I know I've said this a lot, but if we were at school, we would be having an Italian party for lunch. Miss Wilkins would go and we would have pizza for lunch one day as we celebrate and learn about Italy and have some yummy Italian food. Now let me tell you this. I've been talking about Italy and telling Mr. McGuire, I said, this is what we're learning and this is what we're talking about. And he said, oh, we haven't had spaghetti for a while. Why don't you make that? So last night for dinner, we had some spaghetti. Yes, we had some spaghetti. It's good Italian food. I don't know if you like spaghetti, and I made some meatballs. That's one of Will's favorite things. And so, but this is another favorite thing at our house is pizza. And I know that you probably like some of it too. Now this has meat on it, but a lot of boys and girls like the pepperoni, or they might like just it with just cheese. So I wanted to show you some good Italian food. And we talked about some of the restaurants that are around in Woodstock and in Canton, the Olive Garden and Provino's and Gondoliers. Even though it reminds us of the picture of the boat, but that's an Italian name. It's an Italian restaurant. We like to go there. But there's other Italian food besides pizza and spaghetti. This is another one of our favorites, lasagna. Lasagna. All right. And then I wanted to show you some ravioli. Ravioli. So lots of good Italian food out there. I don't know if you like all these things, but they are yummy. Miss McGuire likes them and my family likes them. So you can have some Italian food and have the lasagna, and you can have the pizza and the spaghetti. Yes, with the spicy meatballs. So I hope that you have a good day. I look out my window and I see that the rain has stopped. That's a good thing. Hopefully it'll clear up a little bit. I don't know. I think we might get more rain later on this afternoon. But for now, the rain is over. And maybe you can be like Willie Duck and Wally Duck and put your boots on and go jump in the puddles and have some fun. So I will see you tomorrow. We are going to finish our story about Katerina. We're going to finish our story about Matt, the rat, the pack rat. And maybe we'll do another one of our fun songs that we like to do. So I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Always remember, boys and girls, that Jesus loves you, and so do I. See you soon.